Oh, hello. Hello
Oh,
and welcome. Hi, Ronak. Hi, Manoj. Hi,
hey
everyone.
Joyce.
Hey
Hey
All
Joyce.
everyone.
right. We have some people chiming in from YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitch today. Hello and welcome. Okay. I'm a little bit sweaty. Oh, wait. Let me put on my hacker hoodie. Hold on. Okay. I'm a little bit sweaty because, my internet just went out. I rebooted. I think we're good there. Manoj just pushed some commits. We might be okay there. I'm pretty excited about today's stream. It's going to be security focused, white hat pen testing. But let's go ahead and introduce ourselves. Welcome to the Postman stream. We're at an earlier time of the day, so hopefully we catch some folks on the other side of the world from me. I'm based in San Francisco. My name is Joyce, and I am in developer relations at Postman. Ronak, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hey everyone. I'm Ronak Odhaviya. I am in the security team. I work in the application security team, and yeah, it's really nice to see you, meet you all.
Manoj?
Hey everybody, my name is Manoj and I'm a security engineer with Postman. That's right. Yeah, I my major responsibility is security operations and sometimes application security. That's about me.
So, back in the day, security, I know we started as a startup. I mean, we're still a startup, but we started with, I think, one security engineer. We're like, whoa, we have a full time security engineer. How big is the security team right now?
I would say about 12, 13 people.
13 people.
Yeah.
And your job is to identify vulnerabilities, recommend secure practice. One of you caught me fishing. So you guys like do internal testing, right?
Yes. Yeah, among other things, the security engineer role is in Postman is pretty wide. We are not just limited to application security or just SecOps or even our our domain vast from compliance reviews, infrastructure, cloud, and among other things.
Yeah. So I mean, like I felt like I was a target of the security team for a while because I have a public facing role. So people were like, she does not have good security. Bala Muragan asked if there's any possible way to capture plugin API calls in Postman. So I'm guessing you're talking about using the interceptor extension, the Chrome extension to. That would be a really good idea for. Okay, I'm starting to sweat. I need to take off my hoodie. I'm a terrible hacker. But that would be a really good idea for a future security stream, being able to sniff the traffic that's coming through from your applications. I know that's a popular one. Okay, I'm excited for today because we're going to cover a lot of ground. So let me stop jibber jabbering, and we have a segment that we go over every week, and we actually have stuff to talk about this week. Not that we don't usually, but I'm going to share my screen. We're going to go over in case you missed it. This is if you're curious about new product releases in Postman. I'll drop a link to this Postman blog because we actually have a few different things going on. Last week, we released version 9 of the Postman app. So if you haven't updated and you want to see what's new, go ahead and update your Postman app. Our CEO, Abhinav, wrote a really nice announcement about API platform. So y'all might know Postman as an API client. You might know it as a proxy. You might know it as the Chrome extension, Interceptor. But Postman is an API platform, and over the last several years, like no one that's been using it for the last several years will be surprised. But he has a good kind of blog about that. But if you're curious about specific product, there's also a couple different Postman V9 blogs. I will highlight Ankit Sopti. This is our CTO who talks about the product updates at a very high level. Here, I'm going to scroll real quickly. There's a lot of good stuff about APIs, blah, 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 about how Postman team handles APIs. But then here, this part, the Postman API platform, is where I'm talking about that there is version control. Let's keep scrolling. Private API network for the single source of truth for your internal API schemas, governance of your public APIs, documentation and onboarding, developer experience kind of things. Integrations, that's a really big area. Integrations are getting hit pretty hard now. So on the deployment side, on the monitoring side. So I dropped a link to that. Go ahead and take a look at it. Lots of new changes. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Yeah, it's pretty exciting. All right, let me stop sharing my screen to make your faces nice and big and I can see your smiling faces. Okay. So welcome. Wow, we have people chiming in from India, Sri Lanka. Question from Alireza, release new version for Linux 2. How do we handle our rollouts? Do we just do it all at once? V9, staged rollout? Is Linux part of the update?
Yeah, I think so. We do sometimes staged rollout, but I think if
Yeah.
they go out, yeah.
Yeah, so I believe it has rolled out to every 100% of our user base now. So if you just double check I don't actually have Postman, the packaged app, up and running because I'm trying to save some bandwidth. I'm in the web and we'll be operating in the web. But go ahead and check to see if there's any updates available. Oh my gosh, people are just chiming in from all over. It's very, 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 very great to see everyone's face. Okay, so what are we doing today? I said I want to do something cool and feel like a hacker. I'm like sweating. I'm going to take off my hoodie. But what are we doing? What do we have for today?
So today we are going to hack a bank.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, you're gonna become rich today.
Tell me more.
Yes. So here's the context. This bank claims itself to be the only digitized bank. It doesn't have any infrastructure. You can do anything and everything through APIs, right? And it also exposes APIs to users so that the user can create accounts, they can do transactions and things like that, right? And what you're going to do today is you're going to credit some amount into your account so that you can spend it all by yourself. So how do you do that?
So, first of all, a couple things. You said there's a bank that's all API driven. So it's, I feel like there's a couple banks like that now where there's no brick and mortar thing that you walk into, but it's just all online banking. And second of all, so putting money in my account, I had thought that this was white hat pen testing. And my knowledge of white hat, black hat, there's like other colors of hats. I don't really know. Is this white hat pen testing?
Yeah, this is going to be
Yeah.
white hat.
I thought white hat meant like good, like good for the business, the bank.
That's right. So because we are hosting the bank, we are permitting you to hack. So you ideally become the white hat hacker.
So,
Okay.
So the bank actually paid us to do the hacking. They want us to do something solid. So we have to demonstrate that hey, someone can debit from someone's account without their permission. So we have to demonstrate that hey, that's actually a vulnerability in your bank.
Got it. So the difference here is that the organization is paying us to be like a security consultant, and
Right.
we have Sean who's going to watch the stream very closely so that they can quit their day job because they'll figure out how to hack a bank. And Arlemi's saying it depends on what you do with the info. So if I infiltrate the bank and deposit money into my account and keep it, that's like not good. But if I'm like, hey, look, bank, here's what I did and here's how you can potentially fix the vulnerability, then I'm white hat.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Lots of chatter. It's really hard to keep up here. Ajay has a question from LinkedIn. In Postman, can there be an update as a feature to select multiple collections at once and delete altogether? Actually, I think I have a sneak peek of what's coming up. We don't currently have the ability to take bulk actions on something, but keep your eyes peeled. We might have that coming up. Okay. Are you ready to get started? Are we ready, or do we need any more context for hacking this bank?
So you're a white hat hacker who's newly hired. So let's start from that context.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Joyce, here we will walk you through how we internally do pen test or how a security engineer approaches any company which hired them to do the security assessment, right? So we are along with you. Here we are completely starting from scratch. So yeah, let's see how things goes.
Okay, so I'm a junior
right.
security engineer. And there are several questions I see that are asking about hiring at Postman. Unless security differs from the rest of the company, I assume you guys have open positions.
Yeah. We
Okay.
do.
Indeed, we have open positions. Yes.
Okay, so we'll go through this exercise where I try to get started identifying vulnerabilities, and at the end, you can tell me if you would hire me as a security engineer at Postman. Oh.
We would love to have you on board
Okay.
on security team. Yeah.
Okay, you ready? Should I share my screen? I don't have anything prepared.
That's right.
Okay, and is this something where people can follow along at home, or is it more of like a no, sit back and watch?
So we have actually created a GitHub repository. So what you could do is you could clone that GitHub repository and possibly have a local setup in your place. Or we also have a public instance where you can use it for penetration testing. But I advise you use your local instance because a lot of people will be using the public instance, right? So for this setup, what we have done is for us presenters, we have a specific instance to keep it sane. And for the public, we have an API service that is running publicly. And also for those who are interested to have it in their own private space can like deploy it in no time because it uses Docker and we have Docker configurations there.
Wait, I don't have to use Docker, right? Because that'll slow
Yeah,
me
no.
down. Okay.
No, no.
Okay, so I just dropped a link to this in the chat, but this is the GitHub repo where if you follow the instructions, hopefully you've created a README Manoj, but you should be able to set up your own local Docker instance so that these endpoints work for you. Actually, I really like the way you guys set this up. So if we have time at the end, I would love to hear more about how you guys set this up so that, as Arlemy said, we don't get DDoSed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alemi, please don't do DDoS.
Yeah,
He
please
can't
don't do
DDoS.
DDoS. I mean,
Okay.
to the audience, please don't DDoS. Play responsibly.
Yes.
But we're not relying on that, right? Because
Yeah,
We are
this is
relying
not
on
going to
it.
go well.
Of course not.
Okay.
It's good for other people.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen, and because we're going to be actually doing some work, I think my screen is too small. So I'm going to take the chat off the main screen. But if you have questions, please do ask your questions. And Manoj and Ronak, I'm going to be like working on this. So if you wouldn't mind keeping an eye on the chat, I'm going to go ahead and put all of my focus into this work because I'm going to try to get this job as a security engineer at Postman, and I don't want to mess this up. Okay. All right. So I'm logged in here into Postman in the web. Is this too small? Whoa, too big. Oh, why did I do that on that screen? Okay. So I need to fix this. Otherwise, I won't be able to see anything. I'm so sorry. Okay, fixed. I'm logged into Postman in the web, and what should I do?
Well, so let's start by forking the collection that the bank has exposed.
Okay, is this the one in Postman Live?
Yeah, that's right. Postman Live is the place where you can fork your collection, and bank has put up there. So that's right.
So I just searched for Postman Live, this workspace where we put a lot of our code samples, and is it this one right here?
Yes, that's the collection.
I'll drop a link to this in the chat. So go ahead and fork this if you would like to follow along. You will have to set up a local instance. And in fact, some people come across these recordings after the fact. So go ahead and set up your own local instance with the GitHub repo. And then now I have a collection here. This is way too small. Hold on. Whoops, I keep doing it on the wrong screen. Okay, here. That's nice. Okay. Okay, so there's a couple folders here under the GoodBank APIs.
Yes.
And I will need to fork this to my own instance because I'm not. Let's go ahead and fork it. Let's call this Joyce fork into interceptor. And I will watch that original collection so that if you guys come out with some cool new demos, I can pull changes. Okay, so now I've forked this to this collection to my own personal workspace. Now what?
Awesome. Also, what you'll have to do is you'll have to fork or create an environment specifically for this. So it uses some of the environment variables. So it's a good practice to actually look out for environments in the public workspace, whichever collection it corresponds to. So with the GoodBanks API, we also have environment which sounds like the GoodBanks environment. That's right. It has the required environment variables there.
Okay, I'll drop a
So-
link to that in the chat, and there's just one host. So I'll go ahead and fork this one. You can tell I'm very creative with my fork names. Where did I put this? Interceptor. So I'm going to fork the environment to the same workspace. Same personal workspace. So now in this
Awesome.
workspace, I have the GoodBank environment and I have the GoodBank APIs collection.
That's right. Perfect. So as we mentioned, to keep things sane, let's go to environment and let's give you a special host, right?
Okay.
So why don't you add colon 5000 to the end of this initial value and persist it? I mean, yeah, that's right.
Okay. So you want me to hit port 5000
Yes.
and then
Uh,
I'll
Yes,
have
that's
it in
right.
initial and current value and I'll save my changes.
So
So
for the
at
public,
home, yeah, go ahead.
yeah. So for the public, we have security.postman-breakable.com, which is the bank APIs, and you can use it. And for us specifically, we're using 5000 to keep it sane, so that we don't see some malicious data or we don't see a long list, right? Keep things sane. Let's keep it sane. Yeah.
Okay. So I selected this as my active environment so that Postman will read it in. Now back to the collection. Let me start and bring this to the top because I have a short list. I don't want to get confused. Now what?
Awesome.
Now
Now,
we
Joyce. Yeah. Go ahead, Ronak.
Yeah. Now we explore. We see. So with any security testing, first we need to understand what's our target, right? So we'll try to do the same with here. So let's assume that this good bank API, this good bank has that API publicly exposed through our public collections. Now what we need to do is we need to identify what all APIs they have made public so that we can learn about them and try to see if they have any vulnerabilities. So as a curious person, Joyce, try to see if you can find what all the APIs are and just try to play around with them.
So interesting. You're not going through the documentation. You're not going through what the bank has chosen to expose in their developer portal. You're saying just find out on my own and see if I can't discover undocumented APIs, maybe.
No. You can have the document. You can also refer to the documentation as well.
Yeah.
But so what I mean by that is just see what are the APIs are there. So if you open the bank user, what all operation you can do with the bank user, right? Etc.
Okay.
Like that.
Okay, so this
Maybe
would be
let's just-
equivalent to what the bank provides me and says,
Right.
like, here's our documented APIs, now have at it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It could be
Gotcha.
documented. It could be not documented. They might have just made it public by accident, and we don't know about that because if we take a look at a realistic scenario, a bank would want their API to be private because they even though they can make it public, they would make it. They would want to obfuscate security. The less people know, the more yeah.
Got it. We do have a request for dark theme, but it's going to be a streamer's choice, and I'm going to go with light theme. I actually think it's a little bit easier to see. Don't come at me. Okay, so here I'm going to start exploring. I'm going to hit it and see if we get. Let's see if we get anything back. Okay.
Oh,
So this is good, right?
This is good. Yeah.
200 okay, some sort of response body. I can see what version, status. and I don't know what gullible bank means, but that's decent, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the
Okay.
first thing,
What else?
the next thing that we look at is you observe that here there are no inputs, there are no header, there are no specific headers that we're looking for, there are no specific body parameters or the get parameters, nothing, right? So this this has a less attack surface. The terminology here is the attack surface. Here there's no user specified input, right? So I think we'll keep this in the end to tamper around with the pre-existing headers or the URLs and stuff. But let's go out and check out other things which are very juicy, right?
Okay,
Yeah.
juicy. So there's bank
Ju-
user, bank account, and bank admin. Let's just go in order. How about? Wait,
Yes,
so to create a user, so you're saying that if there's more stuff under here, more user inputs, the attack surface is bigger. So
Right.
in this case, I'm hitting /user. There's no additional query params, but if I go to body, I'm supposed to submit my username and password to create a new user.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I think there has been a mistake. I think this collection is different from what it
Oh, right.
is. Is it? Is
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
Ronak? Uh,
We had an authentication folder in that.
yeah, we had a different collection. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Really sorry.
It's okay.
Uh,
If you update the underlying collection, I can theoretically pull changes from it.
oh, that's interesting. Okay. Uh,
And we are getting some comments in the chat that my video quality is not good. Can you guys see this now? Is it better now? And while Manoj, is this something that you can fix on the fly?
that's right. I am
Yeah.
almost
Okay,
doing it.
Manoj is working on this, but we did have a good question from Danush, so, or possibly a question. I can't follow. There's too many chats, but what we've done here is we've forked a collection and an environment from the Postman Live public workspace. So if you have the collection and you have the environment, your interface should be exactly the same as mine, except your environment, my understanding is, should not include port 5000. So you should not have :5000 appended to the end of your host. So you're hitting this base, excluding :5000, and you should be able to select this as your actively selected environment, and you should be able to hit the endpoint, make a basic GET request, and then experience what's going on there. You'll need to, there's a GitHub link, and you can set this up locally.
If
Okay.
you do
Yep,
add
and
if you do add the 5,000, you'll not be able to access it. So, uh,
The 5000 is for me, guys.
that's right. Yeah, I have updated the collection, and yeah, let's see.
Should I pull changes?
Sure.
yeah.
Do you know how to pull changes?
Uh,
I think it's up
what?
here
No, no,
somewhere.
that's
It's pull
that's-
request, but it's
yes.
hidden somewhere. Here it is. Okay, I went to merge changes, and the destination has been modified because Manoj is fixing it on the back end. We'd recommend pulling changes, so let's go ahead and pull. And we could go through the diff and see what Manoj fixed, but let's just go ahead and pull changes. Okay, so we've pulled it. Theoretically, we have those changes updated, pulled to our local fork. So now if we go under bank user authentication, okay, so earlier there was create user was up above there. So we probably still need to create a user, right, in order to access user information.
That's right. The first thing you would do when you go to a bank is you create an account, you create a user for yourself. So let's do that. Put in your own name and a good strong password, and let's create a user.
Okay, so no one can hack me, right? Right now, this is just for demonstration.
Right.
That's right. Yeah. And it's your own instance, so no one can look into it.
Okay, so I have a very strong password with a username, and I'm going to create a user. and 200 okay. Here's my user ID. I probably want to save my user ID, but we can come back to that. Okay, should I log
Perfect.
in?
You are a hacker. Yeah, curious.
I am a hacker. So first of all, I'm just a developer at this point. This is a provided API. This is what would happen if I followed the documentation. I haven't actually revealed any vulnerabilities yet.
And your thought process was right. You looked at the user ID. You saw something was really fishy there. I mean, you grew curious on that ID, right? So that's something hacker needs to do. You need to be curious. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Let's
So
go ahead.
let's try to log in and see if that works.
Okay, so I'm going to open user login, and it looks like I'll need my same body and
That's
password, which I should have saved as variables. That was silly of me not to do it, but I have it here on the preceding tab. So it's, let me call this. Okay, so it's, I just said it was silly that I didn't use a variable, and then I'm copying and pasting. Should I make a variable?
Oh, this is fine. This is the only time you're going to log in, because what we have done is in the post scripts, when you log in, right, and if your authentication is successful, we are going to store those session tokens for later use.
Very nice. So if we get back at 200, we'll assert that. And then you're setting some variables. Excellent. Okay, so let me log in with my user credentials that I just am passing through in the body.
Right.
Ooh, here's my session token that theoretically should be saved as a variable that expires in, I don't know what this means, but expires in some time.
Sometime.
And I believe it should be saved as an environment variable. So there should be two, session token and user ID. So if I look under my environment, there we go. You've established current values of session token and user ID. Okay.
Okay.
Nice.
So we're logged in. Let me just save this because I don't know what we need. Okay. So we're logged in. Let's get our user information. How about?
Yeah, let's do that.
Go ahead.
So the attack, what do you call it? Attack surface? Is,
Yeah, attack surface.
Wait, where do we submit our credentials?
The session token is inside the folder, so it's inheriting from parent folder.
Okay, so there's an authorization helper that's using API key from the folder authentication. So this is inheritance where all the requests would inherit the type of auth discovered here or added here. So it's API key, and here's my session token that's reading in from the actively selected environment. Amazing. Very nice collection, guys. Okay, so let me get my user information. Email ID, I haven't set that up yet. Interesting. Okay.
Okay.
That's right.
Right. So, Joyce, what do you, let me ask you this, what do you want to try out next? So you understand that there's a login, we have the user information, user change password request. So we are assuming here that if you want to change your password, that's the API that you call. Let's say, if you put on your hacker hat, what do you think that we could get out of this?
I want money. I want more money.
Let's go step by step.
Yeah, then let's go to the bank account and see.
Okay. If I was working for the bank, I'd probably want to poke at all of these, but if I'm me, I just want to get my money. Okay.
Right.
Let's go straight.
So let's go to bank account. We have an account summary and account transactions. I don't see a post for give Joyce money though. So let's just see what kind of information we get back. So this is our host. User ID has been saved probably in a test script. Let me just see what I get back. Balance is 0. I didn't even have any money.
You just created your account and it's 0, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Now let's move. Let's go ahead and get some money into your bank.
Oh, interesting. So I was thinking, let's add money from Joyce, but maybe I should have been an admin because an admin would be able to give me money, right?
Right. Yeah, that's the
Right.
thing. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So
So,
let's see if we can become an admin, or let's see if we can see what an admin can do.
oh, okay. So the number one thing is go to the position of highest power. Yes.
Right.
Thank you, Mina. We want Joyce to be rich. Let's all just figure out how to hack this bank. Okay, so how do we figure out how to get admin access? Because I already created a user and I'm probably a regular user. I didn't see something that was like role, role.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's right. So
Right.
maybe let's continue exploring and see. Let's finish exploring, and then see what happens, right?
Yeah.
So you want to credit amount, right? Let's go and credit some amount straight.
So
Shall
before that, Joyce,
Yeah.
so at this point, you are a normal user, right? You're not an admin. So
Yes.
what we are trying to do is we are trying to explore that can we credit an amount with your session token, which is a normal user session token and not an admin.
Okay.
So that's what we'll do now.
Okay. So credit using regular my own credentials, going to /admin/credit. I don't see anything lit up here. Body is going to require user ID, which would be my Joycifer, user ID, transaction party. Don't know what that means. And transaction
So
amount.
that's right. So who's the party you're dealing with for money? Maybe you get it from nowhere. Let's get it from nowhere. Let's get $100 from nowhere. What do you think?
I see. So you're saying like, do I take it from Ronak's bank account
Right.
or do I take it from somebody else's, like if they have a pool? Nowhere. Okay.
Right.
So
Right.
I'll need user ID, right?
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, I think can you replace that with the your user ID? You can use the variable. Perfect. Awesome.
Yeah. So I think you already
Yes.
set this variable, right?
Yeah. But
Yeah,
we need to
and
put
can
it
you
in
please?
quotes, right?
That's right. Yeah. Please
To
enclose that in double quotes.
be proper JSON. I never know when
Yes.
to use quotes or when not to. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
In case of
Now,
number, it should work, but in case of string, you need to put the double quotes.
Got it.
yeah.
Interesting. So type. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now let's see
Now,
if we can
just 100,
get
or do you
100.
want to put some
Let's
$1 million?
put some more in there. I
Some
can't
more
read
zeros.
without commas, but what's this? $10,000? Is this USD? What is this in? INR? What's the
We don't know. We don't know.
conversion
Let's
rate?
see. Let's see. Let's see.
Bitcoin.
Okay. Well, this is too
Yeah.
much. This will draw somebody's eye. See, this is another hacking thing. You want to be under the radar. This seems like a modest amount. Okay, let's try to post credit choices. Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
403 forbidden. This is what I would expect. I'm not an admin, so I'm not able to credit my account $10,000 from nowhere.
that's right.
Right.
So now
Yeah.
let's start poking around in different areas to see if you can become an admin.
I need an admin's user ID, I think. No, wait, no.
Right.
This is the user ID of where the money is going.
Right.
I need the authorization key of an admin.
You need the session token of an admin user.
Session token of an admin user. Okay.
Yeah.
So there are multiple ways to go through this. So you could actually become a bank employee or a bank admin, and you could execute this because you're not an admin here. That is why you're not able to execute this. So we'll go step by step, or something we call it reverse engineering. How do I become an employee, or how do I become an admin, right? So I need to get the session token of an admin. If I need a session token of an admin, then I need to log in as an admin, right? So shall we start with login?
Yeah.
User
And-
login?
Yeah. So
Yeah,
we can
so
log in.
But again, sorry, yeah.
Yeah,
Ronak,
so-
let me complete.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So again, the last step for user login, you need to know the user ID, right, to log in. At least the user ID and the password, the credentials to log in.
Yeah.
Now we need to find a way to get these credentials, admin credentials.
Okay.
So in the bank admin, right? Shall we explore a little more to understand if there is anything that looks fishy? Yeah, you're pointing it right. You want to
So
try that?
I'm never going to get this job. Manoj is basically saying that we have to get inside, like, what would an admin user have access to? And then is there anything revealed in a response potentially that we can then use to, okay, so let's see, to leak information, which, okay, so here, if I'm like gonna see my customers and admin's customers. Whoa, okay, no, this is customer information. This doesn't help.
Whoa.
But you are a normal user. How did you get the customer information?
Yes. Okay. So yes, I
Yes.
see myself, but I also see Adam, in these other users' information. So maybe one of these is an admin. So then I would go through. I would probably like, if this was like 50,000, I would write a script to like try everyone's and see what I could get, and then move from, instead of nowhere, move from Adam's account over to mine.
Yeah.
Good thinking. Good
But,
thinking.
yeah,
So
good thing.
yeah, here's where we want to introduce the API security vulnerability here. So Ronak, do you mind sharing the link or?
Yeah, sure. So I think we have this great documentation from APIsecurity.io that I'm going to send to Joyce to share with everyone.
Yes.
Oh,
wait,
OWASP?
no, wait.
Joyce will be shortly sharing. Meanwhile, he's getting it up. Joyce will be shortly sharing. Not that. Yeah, shortly sharing a document which shows the list of.
Oh, wait, different one?
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Yeah. So this document contains the list of top 10 API security vulnerabilities. This is different from the web security vulnerabilities that you usually see from OWASP. So OWASP is Open Web Application Security Project, right? So they have API security is very different from web security. You see, in API security, we have different vulnerabilities here, or different common vulnerabilities here. And now let's select excessive data exposure, number 3.
Ooh, they have injection.
Yes.
Okay, I don't know what a lot of these mean, but let's go to excessive data exposure. That's leakage? Leaking?
Yeah.
That's right. Perfect. So now what you found when you clicked on customers, when you looked at a list of customers, you grew curious on the user ID. That is something that is unique to you, and you found it private to yourself. But using that customer API that you hit, you were able to see other details, other customers' details also, including the usernames, the user IDs. So now you got a starting point. You can actually log in to different users and see. Maybe you can do what we call it. You can actually move to different other users to see if they have money. You can debit it or do something. Or maybe they have connection with admin, which is horizontal privilege escalation, to do something, right? So yeah, introducing our first API security vulnerability, that is excessive data exposure.
It's excessive.
Now, that's right, excessive data exposure.
Yeah,
now,
Monica
let's
C., go
go
ahead
back
and ask your question in the chat. We're just playing around here, but we are also fielding questions about what we're working on in the chat. And Aman, yes, this session will get posted to YouTube, so you'll be able to follow up on it later. Go ahead, Manoj.
Sure. Now let's go back to Postman and continue our exploration.
Also, I would like to point out one thing. So, Joyce, did you notice that we were not an admin, yet we get the data, right? So that's another kind of vulnerability that is very common, and it's in the OWASP API top 10.
By getting admin information while not being an admin.
Right. So if you go to the API top 10 list that we have, it called the broken function level authorization, the 5th number vulnerability. Yeah. So this vulnerability translates to the different function level that we have in the application. That is like admin. There is admin role. There is billing user. That like in Postman we have admin, billing, and developer rules. Just like here, we have the normal user and the admin user with more privilege. We performed a privilege action there. So that's another kind of vulnerability that we discovered while just exploring.
Excessive data exposure in my mind is like if I log in with username and password and the server returns like username, like this is not the proper password for this username, then you're revealing that the username exists, right? So you're
Right.
giving additional data that is not necessary and actually provides the hacker information. But broken function level, oh god, that's a long one. Broken function level authorization is it's something that you want to expose as an API, but not for this person, not for this role.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So another thing is that you notice that this particular vulnerability title calls authorization and not authentication. So
Yes.
many people does not know that. Do you know what's the meaning between authentication and the authorization?
Yes. So authentication is you are who you are, but
Right.
authorization is you have access to something. I
Exactly.
don't want to use the word, but yeah, you have access to it.
Right. So that's another vulnerability that you see the API second number of most common vulnerability, broken authentication, which we will see if this bank has or not. So that is yet to be uncovered.
Okay, so I think we're about to uncover potentially broken authentication because authorization would be if I was able to access admin stuff, which actually we already have. But
Right.
authentication is we just received a list of users. Like, so am I able to log in as that user? And in this case, email ID and user ID, actually, username and password is what's required for login. So
That's right.
we don't have password.
Mm,
Right.
that's right. So shall we get started by brute forcing password?
Yeah.
Brute force is all I know.
That's right. So yeah, choose a user.
Yeah.
Uh, choose a
Let's
Okay,
see.
user,
let's
Joyce.
Use
Shall
a
we
lot.
wait. Okay,
go
let's
with
do
Adam?
Adam. And I'm going to try to log in
As a
Yeah, Adam.
as Adam and
And let's see.
let's
Yeah,
let's try
guess the
Adam.
password. Get.
password.
Okay. Yeah, Ronak goes
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
Okay, let's try. Let's
Is
try.
this really the best?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Something else, Joyce? Something else, Ronak?
Adam.
Adam 1 2
Yeah,
3.
Adam. Let's try Adam. What is it? Yeah.
Ronak, do you know what the password is?
I don't know. I don't know
No, I'm
Adam.
not Adam. Yeah, neither me.
So this is where social engineering could come into play, or
Hmm.
you know that site that's like, have I been? I don't
Pond. Yeah.
pond,
Yeah.
where you can see like, oh, Adam uses the same 3 passwords on every
Right.
site. Let me try that.
Yeah.
That's right.
Definitely that. That's how actually people think hacking is pretty complicated and you need to have these crazy amount of computer science knowledge, but it's not. If you can simply what Joyce pointed out, right? You can see the email and you know the email address, you put it in the have I been gone and you get the password. It's that easy.
That's right.
Okay.
Whoa.
Okay,
Whoa,
sorry. Go ahead.
whoa.
Sorry.
Have a look at it.
Oh no, I got locked out. Okay.
Uh-huh. So let's find another way to break in, actually.
Yeah. So did you
Maybe.
understood what happened here?
Yeah, so it's kind of this happens to me all the time because I don't remember my passwords. So I try, and then if you try too often within a certain time period, then you're locked out. So the bank has done a good job here in
Right.
throttling repeated requests.
Right.
That's
It's a
right.
good job,
So
Bank.
good job, Pak. Yeah. Good job to ourselves. Pat on the back.
Oh, so
So
here's a good question from Monica C. Why are we using post, put, get, and delete methods when there's a ton of other methods to potentially try? And I think that's a very good point. In this case, we're going off of what the bank has provided us, and they've provided us just the standard bits. But if I know that this bank engineering typically does use these types of methods, then we could absolutely try undocumented methods.
Yeah.
that's
Definitely.
right. Yeah.
And
That's a good
that's what we
curious
do
thought.
actually. Yeah, that's actually one of the things that we do as a security engineer. We try to see what all are there.
Okay, so how do we? I got locked out. Now what?
Okay.
Now,
Uh, yeah, Manoj.
okay. Let's try to get Adam's password. So we see that user change password is something. User change password is something that we can tamper with again, right? On the left side.
Okay,
Let's
user
go
change
change the user
password.
change password. Yeah, let's go change Adam's password. Let him not be able to log into that. Yeah. So let's type something in here and let's try to see if
But I
we
don't
are
know
able
the
to
old
change Adam's
password.
password.
Yeah.
I
So,
don't.
Joyce. Okay. Okay. So, Joyce, what you did there is you tried to brute force the password, right? But you got locked out. So we are doing similar thing here. We are trying to submit the known password in the old password section and trying to see if what happens. Can we brute force these API?
Got it. It's the same kind of same. I don't know if the word is same vector that you're trying to hit at, but through a different entryway.
Right.
I'm using
Right.
words that I don't know what they mean, but okay. Okay, so what do we think the password is? I've forgotten what
Uh,
I've tried already.
let's try password 123 again, and let's see if this is also having user throttling, right? Shall we do that? Maybe send
Okay.
4 to 5 requests and see, because
Okay.
we got logged out after 3 requests, right, in the login page. Let's see if this is getting user logged out, or at least in the first. Okay. Yeah. So do you recall that even though we got locked out, here it actually says it's a wrong old password, right? There's another way to actually query that record in the database for Adam. So here it's not throttling. Even though we're locked out, we are still able to do that. So yes,
So we're getting around the rate limit.
Right.
that's right.
Okay.
That's right. So now we are going to go a little intense. So everyone roll up your sleeves
Oh my
and
gosh, I'm
let's go a
starting
little
to
intense.
sweat. Okay,
No,
what?
no, we'll teach you. Really cool. Yes. So
Wait,
what are we going to do?
are we going to
Yes.
script a solution?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Get to the
But
point. Awesome.
so what I would do is I would try 3 times to see if 3 is the limit, and then maybe
Mm.
like find out what the limit is so that you can time out and set little tries, space it out, right? So set timeout so that you can say 3 times in 1 minute, and then just keep running that request,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
then
That is
That's
iterate,
another way.
mutate the password.
That's right. Perfect. So what are we going to do here is we are going to brute force, right? So
Okay.
what we'll do is instead of password 123, right? Replace that with double open curly braces password, which is going to be a variable.
Oh yes.
Double yes password. That's right. And same thing for the new password. Okay. It's
New
it's fine.
password.
Yeah.
I'll say new password.
By the way,
Okay.
just quick one thing before Manoj mentioned how we do it. So in Postman, we do a lot of dog food, right? So Postman internal security team, we use Postman at every stage of security testing. So what you are about to see is one of them. How we use Postman to hack into APIs. So Manoj, now go. Like I
Wait,
just
Okay.
wanted to set a stage. So we are
You're
using
saying you're saying that you actually use a Postman collection and use the collection runner or something to
right.
cycle on something instead of like a Python script or any kind of other script that you would be running. Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
That's
So
right.
we do both. If the API had a limit, the proper limit which has the timeouts in certain intervals, then we might need to use Python. But if there is a limit, is straightforward. There is no limit, then why not use this Postman?
No limits. Let's go.
No
Yeah.
limits. That's right. So what are we going to do next is, yeah, let's set new password to be password 123 4. That's cool. Now, what we'll do is we'll dynamically be setting password for every iteration.
Okay.
So how do we do that before the request? We go to the pre-request script
Okay.
and let's start typing in pm dot variables dot set password. Yeah, we're going to set the password from pm dot iteration data. That's
Oh, we're
right.
going to a file.
Dot
Yep.
get open, yeah, password. Is that normal braces? Password.
Normal braces password. So you're
That's right.
using a an external file with a value or a column, like a column name of password, and you're just going to have a bunch of potential So if we went to You Got Pwned, or I forget that site, but if we went there and Adam had like 50 passwords or the top most popular, which I think is like password, top most popular passwords, we could just run through the most common ones.
That's right. Right.
By the way, I
and
just posted the website in the chat, so Joyce could post here. Anyone
Yeah.
curious can visit that.
I don't want to go there during this during this stream, just in case.
Oh yeah,
Right.
this is
Gosh.
an intense one, right? Yeah. So
Yeah.
now let's save this request. Save this request so that
Okay,
we can
save
run
it.
it in the runner.
Okay.
So we go to the runner. On the bottom right corner, you see a runner button.
Oh, it's behind our faces, but there's
Yeah.
another place to run it from up here, I believe. So at the
From
top,
the collection.
you should be able to run the collection. And
That's
we
right.
only want to run user change password, correct?
Right.
That's right.
So let's, is there, okay, there's a deselect all. User change password. And is this a single request? Yeah, this is
Yeah.
just that request.
Also, Joyce, we missed one thing. So now we are actually hitting that request, right? Yeah, please go to that request. We're actually hitting that request, right? Now we need a way to verify if we actually got in, right? Now we got
Okay.
403 here. So in the test script, we are going to check if we got a 200 at all. So there are snippets there. Yeah, perfect. And we're going to select the previous snippet. Yeah. Let's see if we got a 200 at all in that list of password that we're going to pass through.
Okay.
Yes. So
Should I put a console statement to say like what the password was? Or actually we're setting it.
Yeah. We are setting the
that's
password
right.
to password.
But also we
setting
can
it-
also have a look at the response body, which is going to come up. Also, we are setting the new password, right? So that's fine. We are setting the new password to be password 1234. Adam is not. Adam will not be able to log into his account anymore. So sad of him. Yeah. Now let's go to runner.
Okay.
And here we are going to select a file. Select
do I have
file
a
on the right
I don't
side.
have a file, do I?
You need to download
Okay.
it, right?
Yeah. So
say it again.
What you want to do is go to that GitHub repository, which has all the required files.
Okay.
Let's go to that GitHub repository.
Okay, let me just drop a link to it in the chat again.
Yes. And under the util folder, there is passwords.csv. Passwords.csv file. Yeah, this contains a list of possible passwords that it could be. So let's download this file. Click on raw and yeah, and let's save this command in. Yes.
Password CSV TXT. Oh, I'm not
Can you remove the? Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
TXT.
Yeah, remove the txt off, please. I think it's gonna be that. Okay. And now let's select that file and run over it and see if we have.
Ooh, so these are like some common passwords I can see in that little previewer. Let's preview it here. Graham, where are you getting these?
So we did a quick Google search and found out who all are the employees of this bank, and just made a list of their, their spouses, their kids, their pets, and just that's
Ooh. You're saying that a lot of times people use their pets' names for passwords, eh?
Yeah.
Yes. Also, before we run the collection, can you please save the responses? Check save responses.
Yeah, where did it go?
Right below that.
Oh my
right
God.
Below that.
Okay. So
No,
default is that the responses aren't saved for optimization, but we're going to save those responses. And one more thing I do want to point out is that in the pre-request script, we're using PM iteration get password. And we know that password is going to be the header title of our data. And if we're in runner, we can see password is going to loop through every row of the CSV file. Okay, should I run it?
Right. Yes, go ahead.
Okay.
Let's see if we can find something
Fail,
interesting.
fail.
Ooh.
Ooh. Okay, so I'm going to filter on past. And, well, we know what it changed to. It's it's successful, so we should be able to log into Adam's account with password 1234.
That's
Oh,
right.
poor
Okay.
Adam. I hope he has money in his bank account.
Let's
Should I
find
try
out.
it? Should I try it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Let's go to user
So,
login, and this is what is called the lateral privilege escalation. You've actually moved from a customer to another customer to see if you can potentially move upwards now.
laterally.
Laterally. That's right.
Oh, that hurts, Adam. That hurts.
Oh.
Okay. So in the test script, you would have already set the session token and the user ID. So now
Yep.
we're good too. Let me save. Let me
That's
preserve
right.
Adam's account information.
So
Let's
yeah,
see if
here we want to introduce another vulnerability specifically, which is the broken authentication. So Adam had set a very common password, which was easily crackable by just 30 requests, right?
Wait, let's see what it was though. Did we see what his previous password was?
yeah, let's find out.
Yeah, let's check it out if you're curious.
It's in body, right?
Request
Yeah.
body. Yeah.
Account.
Oh, his old password was account.
That's a terrible password. I thought I had bad passwords. Okay.
So
All right.
that was broken authentication because he used a very common password. You can see that there's no uppercase, there are no numbers. Also, it was very common that we could easily break it with a word list, right? So we actually, recalling what we did, we started from change password, which had no throttling, and we did brute force with the available list of password that was there, and we were able to compromise one of the users. So far, we have successfully done a lateral privilege escalation.
Yeah, and we did have a question from Parveen. Why is Postman not saving the response message? How do you go back?
Do you want to check out an all tests?
Say it again?
Do you want to click that again? Let's drop down response body. I think it should be there. Can you click on the user password?
This one?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Response body.
Yeah.
It has it, right?
So, Parveen, you need to select, there should be a checkbox in the runner before you run it that says save responses. I was just trying to see how to go back there, but I don't, well, we could open it again, I suppose.
There's a new button that you can click there.
Oh, new.
On
Okay, very
right
nice.
side,
Yeah, so make sure you select this one. This is unselected by default, but if you want to save and log all those bodies, it's just more efficient, more lightweight to not do it. But if you want to see it, then go ahead and check that box. Okay, let's get some money.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's see if
Now
he
that
has
we
any money or not.
Okay, so get user info. Oh, bank account summary, I think.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, so we're gonna use, we've already established Adam's user ID. Authorization is inheriting from bank account folder, which should be saving that session token. So let's just get Adam's information. What is this? Why? Why did we go through all that trouble? I don't even know what 0.23. Yeah, somebody was suggesting maybe it's Bitcoin. Does anyone know any proper math? Maybe this is a Bitcoin bank.
Could be. Yeah. So see,
Guys.
this is sometimes this happens when you put in a lot of effort to hack into something, but you still don't get the reward that you would hope
But
for.
don't lose hope.
Oh,
Yeah,
we
don't
have.
lose
still
hope. Let's go ahead.
Yeah, so we have some comments here. Mahesh says, what happens if we have numbers in the password? In this case, I believe we were stringifying the password, so it doesn't matter. We don't need to worry about type. And Tan Mayo is saying it still doesn't have the most used password, QWERTY. Is this true?
Yes. Yeah. QWERTY among other things are like most used password. With God and admin, and with that. Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, probably. And
1, 2, 3, 4. Yes.
yeah, interesting. Okay, all right. So let's find what do we do next? I want some money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Manoj,
Now,
let's get Joyce some money.
Yes. Okay. So now that we have done broken authentication, and now we need to actually do horizontal privilege escalation now. Let's see if there are other ways to get in through, right? So far, we have looked at different things. Can we look at update user information? I think there should be something interesting there.
Okay,
Yeah.
so update user info.
Yeah.
Yes. Now that you're admin, maybe let's just tamper over here. Let's see what happens.
So I
Let's
need
put in some email ID.
email ID of Adam.
Right.
No, anything. Maybe this is because you're Adam right now. So maybe you can put your email ID, or maybe you're being hacked at. Maybe you just want to prank Adam. Do you want to?
I don't understand what you want me to do. Let's hit send.
So
Okay, yeah, that's right.
so
That's fine.
what just now happened is once you get someone's session token, you would want this account to be yours, right? So if they have their own email address, they can easily reset and gain control back. So we would want to make sure that they can't get back in. So that's why we would want to change the email address or phone number so they cannot just reset the password.
Okay, but I have Adam's session token, but
Right.
Adam is updating the user updating user information for themselves. So the
Right.
authentication and authorization is for Adam, but they've just updated their email ID and phone number to this random one.
Right. So
Right.
now they own that account.
Okay.
Right.
Right.
So what you've actually done now is persistence. So if Adam found that he was not able to log into his account, then he's going to try to reset his password through email ID or phone number, right? So now you have changed the email ID and phone number to yours. Now he has no way to log into his own account. So now you have gained persistence.
Okay.
Right.
Now
Now,
go ahead.
yeah.
Ronak.
Yeah. So, Joyce, you wanted money, right? And
Yes.
to get money, we see that there's a bank admin has credit and debit amount. So somehow, if we get to admin level, we can credit money into our account, right?
Okay.
So how do we do that?
But
Manoj, do you know?
Oh wait, you just said it. You said escalating blah 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 up.
Yeah, that's what we'll do now. So to give you a hint, Joyce, you see the response that you get, it has a parameter which looks interesting.
Employee.
Correct. What does
Yes,
that
yes.
tell you?
I want to be admin.
Right.
Wait, no.
So,
Adam is an employee, so Adam could be like a bank teller or something. So Adam could possibly
Exactly.
get me info or money. I
Exactly.
mean, money.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you're an employee or an admin, yeah,
So
go ahead, Ronak.
in computers term, an admin is basically an employee, right? An admin which has a privileged role in an organization. So employee could be that.
Got
So
it.
Manoj, how can we turn Adam into an admin, or in this case employee?
Yeah.
Just
How do we
change
do
it to
that?
1. Don't you think it could be like
Yeah,
0 or
yeah,
1?
that's
Oh, no.
right.
Yeah,
And we
you're
do
right.
let's
Yeah,
try
let's
to
let's
put
see
that
if
in the
that's
updated
possible.
information.
Oh god, I'm a stupid hacker.
Oh
Okay.
no, you're growing curious. You're a good one.
Yeah, you found out that that's an employee parameter. That could be.
Okay, so this is in the
Let's do that
response
employee.
body,
That's
but I can't submit anything there.
I mean, you can actually. So you see that it's a JSON of email ID and phone number alone.
Yes.
Let's get curious and see if we can. And okay. Before that, you see that there's only email ID and phone number in the request, but in the response you get email ID, employee, failed login, and other stuff.
Yes.
Why don't we try one of the existing key value pairs and specifically that employee equals to something?
Okay, and you're
So,
thinking
comma.
that the properties would be the same, and
Yeah,
possibly they
it could
didn't
be.
prevent that we could use it. So if
Right.
we're like
Yes.
employee 1,
Mhm,
and so
that's
employee,
right.
I'm uncertain if this is like employee status or employee number. So if it's employee number, then I could do the same thing that we did with password and just cycle until I got an admin, right? Just keep incrementing
Right.
until I got an admin.
Yeah, that's
Maybe
a
let's
good
try
thought.
one
Yeah,
to start with.
actually,
Yeah,
Joyce,
go ahead, Ronak.
on that, Joyce. So that's actually good thought because this time we are doing this as a third party, so we don't know how the application was built, so we don't know a lot of things here. So it's mostly it's a guessing game. But to answer your question, uh, what response we get here? So this was in response to update user information, and this is only for one user. right? So it can't be all the employees' number because it's just about you. So in this case, they are using it as a flag that hey, this person is employee, true or false.
Got
Does
it.
that
So
make
if it
sense?
was employee ID or something, then we could try that approach. But in this case, it's probably just employee status
Right,
or
Right.
right,
something. Okay.
yeah,
Right. So let's try this.
One.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay,
Woo.
well, I changed it. I don't know if that means that if I'm admin though.
Let's see if we can.
So you have changed it. Okay, but before we go to the next step, we want to introduce the next vulnerability, that is mass assignment. So can we go to that page which has the list of vulnerabilities? The second
Yeah.
tab.
Yes. Before we go back to the vulnerability list, I think let's just recap what we just did. So we gained access to Adam's account by updating the password by brute forcing and looping over a data file of common passwords. So now we have access to Adam's information, and we're trying to make Adam have the permissions, possibly be an admin, permissions to grant me money so I can retire early and just, get money. Okay, so now
Yeah.
you wanted to go to the OWASP vulnerabilities list.
Yeah, and let's look at mass assignment, the API 6 2019. So this is mass assignment. So in mass assignment vulnerability, what actually happens was, did you observe that the application intended to only update user ID and email ID and the phone number, but it actually allowed even the employee ID, right? Employee status. So that means it wasn't doing proper checks in the backend. It was just accepting the object as a whole, the whole request body, and it was going through each one and updating it dynamically into its database. So there was no check at all, even though the function intended only updating username and phone number, but it was allowing updates of every other field in that particular record. So this is one common vulnerability.
So there was no input validation on the server side.
Right.
Okay. It's
That's
very
right.
interesting. We have a couple chats in the comment. Edwin is saying that there's a different password in the Docker instance spun up from GitHub. Manoj, do you remember if you set it up so that you would be able to brute force using that CSV for the local instance? It should be the same thing, no?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think there is a mismatch. I think I haven't updated the Docker image that I put in the registry. So maybe that is causing the issue. Probably I can do that right now. Meanwhile, please go ahead with
Yeah,
things.
Edwin, if we don't get that fixed right away and then you can update your local instance, then we'll do it right after the stream. Um, oh, this is a question. Anmal is asking, can GraphQL solve this issue?
Yeah, I think so. It depends, right? Yeah, if you put the measure on the GraphQL server, then yeah.
Okay, so I love this discussion and I love the suggestions. We actually have people like suggesting, are we going to talk about username enumeration, like so much stuff. But Chippity Chop, we are running out of time. I need some money.
Okay, so let's get back to that collection then,
Okay.
and see now that we have set ourselves as an employee, can we access those credit amount and debit amount APIs? That look interesting.
Okay, so we've updated our status to employee 1, and let's go back to credit amount.
By the way, there's a documentation. We haven't opened it yet, so yeah, maybe this is a good time. See if they have added any information.
Oh, read documentation? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
To be used by bank tellers. Okay, so if employee status 1 is a bank teller, then Adam would now have access to give me money.
Right. And yeah, let's see. Your user ID is already there. Uh, let's put down transaction party as let's say Manoj, because he helped us find this, and see if we can transfer, let's say $10 million from his account.
from Manoj's account?
Yeah, not from Manoj's account. I think this is just the transaction party name who made this transaction. It does not necessarily be the person. And let's execute the API.
Okay, 10,000 to stay under the radar and be modest. We're not greedy.
Right.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
I'm not an admin.
Oh, okay. So you are still not an admin, right?
Employee 1 might not be a bank teller. It might be like somebody that doesn't have access to do this stuff.
Right.
But let's see if we missed something. Can we look at the token?
The authorization token?
That's right, the session token.
So I'm going to go to bank admin folder.
And let's look at it. So we grow curious here. This format, yeah, maybe if we can have a look at the whole token itself.
Maybe open environment.
Yeah, open environment.
Oh, are you thinking like a
Yeah.
JSON web token?
Yeah.
I see
Right.
2 dots, so
So-
it looks like a JSON web token to me.
Exactly. So we go curious on the session tokens because that could contain useful information, right? Maybe they're going, I mean, maybe the API server is not going every time to the database and checking if it's an employee or not at all, right? It's using the token data itself to check if it's an employee or not. So we should probably refresh the session token now
Update the
and try
session
it out
token.
again.
Yeah, you're so smart. Well, I guess this is your example. Okay, so I need to log in again to get a new session token.
Right.
Because I've updated on the back end, but my session token might be out of date. So let me just hit send. We've set. Okay, I'm an employee now, or Adam. Adam is an employee now, possibly a bank teller, and will now be able to grant me money. Let's go back to credit amounts. And again, we're attributing the transaction party to Manoj, and we are staying under the radar. Let's see if this works. Okay, well, so I would want to log in. I would want to wait, who did I just send this to? Wait,
This is
user,
to Adam. Adam.
is user ID me?
No, it's Adam.
Oh, it's Adam.
Oh, okay. So I wanted to give it to me, but in this case, I'm Adam, and then now I could just withdraw my cash or something.
Right.
Because it would be too fishy for Adam to transfer money to me from somebody else, and then it's a paper trail.
Yeah,
I see
and
what
that's
you're
why we
saying.
used Adam. Yeah, that's the only reason we choose Adam, because we don't want anything to point back to us.
I'm not a very good hacker. I didn't even think of that.
Oh.
Okay, so now I
hackers
just
need to be anonymous.
wait. I do have a question though. This is an online bank. There's always going to be a paper trail to transfer funds over to me. I can't go into a place pretending to be Adam and withdraw this cash. How do I get the cash? Or is this white hat still?
That's again a good question. Let's say the bank will have some kind of physical security, right? So that's another kind of hacking that we could look at in another session. That's because hacking is not just about computer; it's also about hardware, or fooling someone something that you are not. So just like how you say authentication is someone knows who I am. Similarly, in physical world as well, you can fool someone that, hey, I'm Adam.
Yeah, I don't know what type of pen testing that's called, but it's very common at data centers where people will have a lot of security at data centers because it's such sensitive data. But I was taught, like, don't let people in. If you badge somebody in, don't let the person behind you in, because I get let in all the time because I look like very not sinister. But I could be a hacker, or I could be a security consultant hired by the company, and then in which case you're in trouble because you let me in.
Yeah,
That's right.
But yeah,
Awesome.
let's see now
So-
if this actually happened or not. Can you see if your account has the money?
Okay, so account summary. I'm logged in as Adam. Previously, I had 0.23 potentially Bitcoin, but probably not. And so we'll go ahead and hit send. Ah, yes.
Now we are talking.
10,000
Whoa.
units of some sort of money.
That's nice. That's nice. So maybe actually we could go through this really quickly, maybe as a summary. You can log in as yourself and update yourself as an employee, credit it to your bank, maybe $1 million this time, and check if you got the money. Let's do that.
Okay, so my password was
And it was still 1234.
one,
Maybe
two,
you
three.
could brute force your password.
Say it again. Should I? So I'm logging in as myself, and I have my session token, but now I want to update my user information to, oh, what's my email ID?
You can just remove them, right? Or no?
Yeah.
Well, let's see if you validated that I need to have this. So I have my session token, me now, Joyce, and I'm going to update my information to employee 1.
Mhm.
Okay, so I'm employee 1 theoretically, and now I can,
Choice, you need to
I need to
refresh your token.
refresh my
That's right.
token. So log in again,
Yes.
refresh get a new token with employee ID. Oh, I'm an
Yeah.
employee. Okay, and now I credit myself from Manoj 10,000.
This
Wait,
time
let's see
$1
how
million
much
will
I
come.
had. Let's see how much money I had first. So I'm gonna get my account summary. Okay, balance is 0 because
Zero.
clearly I just created my account. And now let's have like
Put more
9,000
zeros.
transaction amount credited. Let's double check. Previously I had 0 monies.
Whoa, Joyce got
Joyce is rich
money.
now.
I'm
Joyce is
rich!
now.
Okay, let's just really quickly go over the ones that we actually covered. Do you want to identify them?
Yeah. This we haven't covered yet, but we could.
Oh! I thought
we
that,
could.
it's broken authentication. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, broken authentication is when you are using weak credentials, or you are you're you're using a weak credential on known passwords, or you're using multiple password at the same location, multiple same password in multiple locations that can be easily spoofed or easily guessed from somewhere. Then that's a broken authentication. There's various types as well. So if the API does not require any authentication at all, that is also broken authentication. There is another type of if you are using JWT token but you are not signing the request, then it also a broken authentication. So Joyce, if you can scroll down, this is a really nice website that mentioned all the use cases and how to prevent it. Yeah, so if you are really interested, all the viewers, you can actually see that and get a reference.
Yeah, I'll drop a link to this again. We covered a lot of this. I'll drop a link to this. We did have an interesting question. Parveen said, can we refresh the token automatically? And yes, you can. So we happen to be using this as a separate request, but you can also always recreate this request in a pre-request script, for example. So if I go to code and just like well, not curl, but like something JavaScripty, like jQuery or fetch, let's say, here's the call, and we could put this in our pre-request script so that if our session token was expired, or we just wanted to get a fresh token every time because we're like that, we can put this in the pre-request script to be handled asynchronously. It'll be done before the main request, and then you can just have a fresh token every time. And we do have a question from Ikro Neurohim. Is this money real? Yes, it is, and I am wealthy. This is my last stream. It was really nice for you to check in, but I am wealthy, and I'm going to quit my day job. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen really quickly, and bring chat back on the screen. So if you have questions or comments or observations, go ahead and drop them in the chat. It's kind of interesting because I think Monica C, if Monica C is still around, was really trying to push the boundaries of what's undocumented. They mentioned different methods. I think some other people were talking about reverse engineering. something that I think is fun that maybe we save for another stream is if you're logged into the website, just kind of sniffing the traffic that's coming, the network calls that are coming out of there. We talked about using Interceptor. We can also set up a proxy to funnel those web requests in a Postman so we can inspect them more deeply. And I think that's probably where a lot of vulnerabilities are, because even if the bank doesn't have APIs documented in their official documentation, there's all sorts of web APIs being used. I think that's how Reddit's API first was. It was an unofficial API, but it's just the web. That's how the web works. And so you were able to do a ton of things. Any other final thoughts before we get to community shoutouts? Anything that you really want, like TLDR, if somebody was just popped in, what do you want them to know?
So we created this collection with the intention to cover 1 to 8, but because we had limited amount of time, we created a story for ourselves and we covered maybe 5 to 6 vulnerabilities. But you can always go check it out all by yourself, do it yourself. There are other vulnerabilities that we haven't covered, like the weak JWT tokens, and alas, we couldn't cover SQL injection and things like that. So go ahead and try it out on the GitHub repository that was posted.
I just dropped a link to that GitHub repo again for anybody that wants it at the ready. And then I'll also drop a link to the general workspace where I keep wanting to call it the good place, but the good bank collection and environment are. So you can fork that and then play along on your own instance. Ronak, did you have any last words of wisdom about security before we get to community shoutouts?
Yeah, sure. But before that, I just want to say, if you guys do try out this, let us know. Feel free to ping us anytime, and on Slack or on LinkedIn or any other place that you could find. We'll be happy to help you out with this, or if you have any other question. And security. I think I truly believe this, that every single one of us is a hacker. Just you need the mindset that what if I do this? What would happen? And that's the line that I follow in all of my security assessment, and that always worked out for me. So yeah, that's just it. What if I do this?
And I mean that's like how bug bounty programs work. A lot of people make money. I don't know if bug bounties are enough to make your full living off of, but there's a lot of people that are just like mischievous, curious. Let's just say curious, right? Does Postman have a bug bounty program?
Yes, we do. We have an internal bug bounty program on HackerOne at the moment, which soon we will be making it public. So yeah, just keep an eye out for that. And if you do want to get invited to this, shoot us an email at security@postman, and we'll be happy to add you there.
So if I'm like anywhere in the world and I'm curious and I want to potentially get some monies, how does the bug bounty program work?
So it's simple, like what we did right now. We found vulnerabilities in a bunch of APIs. We got ourselves money, but that's if we kept that money, we are the bad guys and the black hat hackers. But if you do report that, hey, these are the vulnerabilities in your software or application, then people pay really good money to reward you that. So we also have the bug bounty reward system where we pay some good amount of money to the people who responsibly report vulnerabilities.
Yeah, I mean, there's a fine line. There's a fine line between white hat and black hat, I think, and it's so interesting because black hat people go to jail and white hat people get paid. So why not just get paid for it? Diwakar is asking, can OAuth 2.0 be used instead of JSON Web Token? And yeah, in this example, we just use JSON Web Token, but OAuth 2.0, we have some other streams where we didn't hack or reverse engineer anything, but we have a lot of OAuth 2.0. Okay, so let me just close with community shout out. So if anybody has any events that they're going to be hosting, blog posts that they've written, go ahead and post it in the chat. Ronak and Manoj, I'll be asking you as well if you have any community shout outs as we close out the stream. My shout out, or it's not a shout out, but it's an announcement. So V9, as I mentioned at the start of the stream, version 9 of Postman just released last week. It's kind of a big deal. So next week, Arlemy and myself will be back at our regular time. So same day, but a couple hours later, we're going to be test driving and unboxing the new V9, walking through what's new. I do believe there's a bunch of stuff, a lot of stuff coming, so we actually kind of extended it so that we can be a little bit more methodical and answer some questions. There will be a recording of this stream on YouTube. As always, all of our streams are on YouTube on the Postman channel, but make sure you tune in next week to see what's new with Postman V9. Ronak, I'll start with you. Do you have any community shout outs that you want to, or you can just say like a book you're reading? I see Manoj has books. I don't know, whatever.
So I'm not a book person, so I do want to shout out to the APIsecurity.io. They have a really nice documentation. It's really good for anyone who want to learn more about OWASP API Top 10. And yeah, do check that out.
And Manoj?
Yeah, long story short, I have been in different roles, and security engineering was something that interested me a lot. What actually helped me really well is, yeah, I'm not paid for this, but I think I labs, penetration testing, try hack labs. That really nothing to something that I could be a security engineer right now. Shout out. And what I do usually is I post some Twitter on tweets very inconsistently though, and I again write Medium blogs. So watch out for that. You could find something curious and interesting there.
And did I hear you correctly? You were talking about tryhackme.com?
That's right.
Oh, it's gamified too. Okay. Yeah, some good resources for hackers that are just getting started or just want to expand their breadth of hacking vulnerabilities. Okay, well, that's all we have for this week. We are going to be back next week, as I mentioned, talking about Postman V9. Ronak, Manoj, I'm so glad you guys were able to join us. You have this really cool demo that you created and spun up last minute. We were pushing code just right before the stream started, and it was kind of down to the wire. But I had a lot of fun, kind of putting on my hacker hat and thinking more like a hacker, like a security engineer, somebody that actually cares about building more secure APIs. In the API, OWASP vulnerabilities are different than the general OWASP vulnerabilities. So that was actually pretty cool to dive into API vulnerabilities instead of just web vulnerabilities. I hope everyone learned a lot, and thank you so much for joining us. We will be back next week, and until then, thank you so much for showing up, and I'll talk to you later. Goodbye.
Very well.
Bye guys.